Welcome back, everyone. Today happens to be day 5 of our Fundamentals of Full Stack Development course and day 4 of HTML course. How was yesterday's session, database session? What you people learned? Please ping in the chat. You learned about database. What else? Introduction about SQL. SQL. Okay. Then type of database. Data information. Creating database and tables. MySQL. Comments of SQL. Amazing class. Okay. RDBMS. Nice. You have learned most of the things and we'll continue later. We'll come back to database later. As of now, you have understood how to create database tables and all. There are a lot more that we will see in the later sections. Let's come back to HTML. I hope you have not forgot HTML. Did you forget HTML? Okay. And one more thing, guys. From today, we are going to start with CSS as well. We are just left with single topic in HTML. Okay. We'll quickly cover that and then we'll start with CSS. Is that fine? I'll share my screen now. Is my screen visible? Say yes or no. Yes, it's visible. Let me open chat window 1 second. Okay, people are saying yes. Okay, one person is saying, ma'am, could you please resend the VS Code link? If you have my day 1 notes, there I've mentioned the VS Code link as well. You can get it from there. Or just Google, okay, download VS Code, you'll get it. It is very famous, so you can easily get it. Okay, let's recap whatever we have discussed. My first question is how we can make the contents in bold. Which tag we should use to make contents bold? Answer. Yes, it is recommended to use strong. We can use B tag as well, but as per the recommendation, HTML doc recommendation, it should be strong. And to represent text in italic format, which tag we should use? IEM, emphasis. We should always use the recommended one. It is emphasis tag, EM tag. We can use I also, but you should go with the recommended one. And then we saw what are all special characters and all. For adding space, which one we should use? How can we add spaces in HTML? Extra spaces in HTML? Yes, ampersand NBSP semicolon. And why do we need list in HTML? Why do we need list in HTML? Yes, to list group of related items. And what are the types? Yes, we do have 2 types, ordered and unordered. For ordered, which tag we should use? OL, correct. For unordered list, which tag we should use? UL, unordered list. And to specify the items, which tag we should use? How can we change the ordering in ordered list? Instead of, by default it would be number, right? How I can change it to alphabetical order? Which attribute I have to set? Which attribute I have to set? Yeah, it is type. Type is equal to A. Like this we have to set. And for unordered list, how I can change the icon? By adding what? Style list type. Yes, we should add CSS for that. We should add CSS for that, and we should set property list type as none or anything as we required. List type to circle, disk, like that. And you learned about HTML tables and all. And by default, tables provide border or not? What is the default size of the border of HTML table? It is 0. It is 0. So it will not provide any border by default. How can you set the border? Which property you have to set? Which property you have to set? Yes, border, and then you should specify the size. Size will start from 1, 1, 2, 3, like that you can specify. And then we talked about div and span tag. Why do we use div and span tag in HTML? Why do we need span and div tag? Yes, in order to group the elements, we will use span and div tag. And what is the difference between span and div? Div is block level element and span is inline element. Block level element means line by line. Okay, inline element is side by side. What else we discussed? Iframes, correct. Why do we use iframes? Why do you need iframes? Yes, to add another HTML page inside our HTML, we will use iframes. And we talked about inputs, right? So what are all the types available? Can I add text? Number is available, right? Password, date, checkbox. Yes. These are the types available. Text, number, date, email, radio, checkbox, color. And tell me one thing, how I can group radio buttons, related radio buttons. Which attribute I have to specify? Yes, name attribute. With name attribute, we can group the related radio buttons. Same with checkbox as well. Which property I have to set the value for radio button and checkbox? Which property I have to set? Which property or attribute I have to set? It is value, correct. In order to check or select the radio button by default, which attribute I have to set? Yes, it is checked. We should add checked. And in order to provide drop down elements, what tag we should use for drop down items? Yeah, it is select tag. And in using which tag we can provide options for drop down? Yes, it is option tag. In order to select the option by default, what attribute I have to set? In order to select one of the options by default, what attribute I have to? Yes, it is selected. And selected should be applied for select or option. Select or option. 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 Okay. And then we'll see what else we discussed. Yes, we covered all the topics. Yes, as I said, I left with only one topic in HTML, right? Even though it is single topic, it is very important. So please concentrate. Let's check. Let's take one example. If you will go to bank and you want to create new account there. What is the procedure? You have to fill a form, right? You have to fill a form, right? Correct. And in form, what all the details you will fill? You can give some 4 to 5 examples. That's enough. In form, what all the, yeah, it is name, address, age, applicant name, government proof, address, Aadhaar ID, PAN number. Okay. Okay, it's enough. So now you will fill a form and you will submit to submit. Okay, and after 1 week, you want to withdraw some money or you want to deposit some money. Okay, at that time also, do you provide all the details? Yes or no? Again, you will fill the form with basic details. No, right? No, right? Like how it will happen? So you will fill a form and you will give it to bank. What bank people will do is they will update your information in the bank database. They will store your information in the bank's database. They will manually do it. They will just add your details there. Okay. So next time when you come back, you will be, after adding your details, you will be given with some ID, that is your account number. Using your account number, they can retrieve all your information. Are you following me? Using that account number, they will retrieve all your information. Now tell me, is it possible to create bank account online? Yes, right? Let's take the example. Don't believe me. We'll take example for everything. I want to create a Kotak account online. See, it is asking for few details and it is giving this option, open now. How they have achieved this? They've achieved this one using HTML form. Okay. Is it clear? Is it clear? They will take your full name. They will take your mobile number. They will take your email address, and then you can accept these terms and conditions. Here we do have checkbox, and these are all input fields. And then you will click on this button. In technical terms, we will call this one as submit button. Why, if you ask me, after providing all these details, this has to go and sit in database, right? It has to go and sit in database. So we are submitting this form. So how it will happen is, when you submit this form, first it will go to backend. If you ask me how it will go to backend, we should write a logic in front end. We should write a logic in front end to connect to the backend system. Okay. And once it reaches the backend will send this data to database. and database will store it. If you ask me how backend will reach the database, it backend should write a logic to connect with database. Are you getting me? Front end should have a logic to connect to the backend, and backend should have a logic to connect to the database. Is that clear? Now, if you ask me, ma'am, why can't we directly connect to the database instead of backend? You might be having this question, right? Why can't we directly connect front end with backend? Sorry, front end with database. In day one, we covered front end, what is front end, what is back end, and what is database, right? I've taken WhatsApp example and I explained. Did you get those things? I mean, you have a basic idea of what is front end, what is back end, and what is database? Yes, right? Okay, you might be not aware of why we should not connect with front end with database, right? That one I will take it later. What I will do is first I will create a simple form, then I will explain why in real world we will use backend in between instead of direct communication from front end to database. Is that clear? Okay. Now you might have understood. Form is what? Collection of inputs. Here, this is one input, this is one input, this is one input, these two are inputs, right? So it is collection of inputs, and it is used to take user inputs. Now I'm the user for this website, and I'm providing this information, and it is taking, right? So form takes user inputs. Okay. And we will use form tag to create a forms in HTML. Okay. With this, I will start coding. Okay. I will create a new file. I will create a new file, forms.html. Okay. And then we'll just change this. We'll say h1 user form. Okay. And then I'll say form tag. As I said, we will use form tag to create a form in HTML. Okay. And then I will add few inputs. Input, I will just say type is equal to, for name we need, for name we need type as text, and for mobile number we need type as what? Number. Okay. And for email address, we can say input, type is equal to email. Okay. And finally, as I said, for any form, we will be having submit button. And in HTML, this is a way we will create buttons. Okay. Button. And I will say submit form. You can give any name. Okay. And here I want to discuss one thing. So this is normal button. This is not submit button. If you want to make this button as submit, then you should say type is equal to submit. How it will help if you ask me? As soon as you click on this button, it should call the backend to backend, right? It should call the backend, right? So that will happen only if you specify type is equal to submit. I can show you later by adding one more button. If you don't give this type as submit, right, then it will not call the backend. That's why we should always forget this. You should always remember this. If it is submit button, then you should say type as submit. And for every input, I will just add one line break. Okay. We'll add some more inputs as well later. Now we can also add labels to this. Before that, let me try running this. See, it created things for us. It already created things for us. Let's make it better. Let's make it better. Okay. So now what I will do is, for this input, there should be some label like this. Here we don't have it. Here they have a placeholder instead of that. What is placeholder? If you ask me, I will tell you later. So if this is one form, and if I want to go to Facebook, see, here also they are following this. In some forms, what it would be having is, they will be having this labels, and that will say what should be the value we should add. For say it requires full name, right? And it requires mobile number, and it requires email ID. So let's add those labels. In HTML directly we can do like this also. Name, name, and then we can just leave like that. Go back. Okay, it will come like this. Actually, there is a standard way to do this. Instead of adding like this, what you can do is, in HTML, to add labels, there's a tag called label, and you can use this name. Okay, and then for number, I'll say mobile number. You should be active, because I'm doing so much of coding, and if you're checking your WhatsApp or Instagram, then that will not help you, because in real time, if they ask you to create a login form, this is a way you will create it. Okay, so please concentrate. Okay, that time, yeah, you can't use WhatsApp, Instagram and all, and nobody will be there to help you as well. See, it created things for you. And one more thing, now you're saying it is input, and this is also input, and this is also input, you're saying, and finally you're submitting. But in database, you might have seen the columns names, right? It would be name column, mobile number column, email column, like that it would be there. Don't think like whatever label you're specifying here, with name column it will go and store. That is wrong assumption. This is just for the display purpose. Whatever you're given here, it is just for the display purpose. In order to provide some identifier, you should use name attribute. Okay, name attribute. So I will say full name, and this is the property. This is the property which will go to the backend. I will show in some time, okay, how it will be done. So no, name, mobile, this one I'll say mobile number, and this one I'll say email. And it is now you have just added random labels, right? Instead of that, it is always good practice to add for which input you're using this label. So you should add this attribute called for is equal to, and then you should say what is the name. So it is full name, and this is mobile number. Please make a note of all these things. Please make a note of all these things. It is very, very important. I have like 6 years of experience in the industry. Still, I will use this form. Okay, I might be using it for some frameworks and all, but whenever I'll create a form, I will make sure that I will be adding this fields. So, okay, please concentrate. And we'll add extra 2 breaks. Okay, we'll go back now. See, it has done. And then what I will do is, now I will provide my name and some number I will give, and then I will submit form. Last time when we discussed about name and email ID, you might have asked me like what is the difference between name and email ID. Even here also it is accepting all characters, and here also it is accepting all characters, right? So this is the difference. When I'm using this inputs with form, by default it will do some validations. If you see why it is not accepting, because it is expecting some at symbol in the email address. If you consider any email address, there will be at symbol, right? So I will just change it to gmail.com. Now I will submit. That is the difference between name type is equal to email and type is equal to text. Is that clear? Yeah. You might have noticed something happened. What that something, if you ask me, here you can notice the URL. Let me copy here only. I'll just add it over here. You can see here, as soon as I will just close it. I will just close it and I will open it with live server. Okay, this was the URL. This was the URL. And as soon as I submit it, it became like this. What is this extra things, if you ask me? Here it would be an encoded string, guys. That's why it has added this special symbol and all. Don't think about all these things. I only added, I guess. That was my mistake. Let me create. I'll just add this and submit form. Now we'll see. I added social characters and all. See, if you see here, full name is what? Bhavya. And then we are adding and then next parameter is mobile number. Mobile number is 8152. And then we are doing email, and then instead of at symbol, percentage 40 is there, because since browser encodes the string of URL, it is doing this. Okay, it is b@gmail.com. See, it is sharing the information. Okay, it is sharing the information. As of now, we have not covered JavaScript yet. So when I will be covering JavaScript, right, I will show some more attributes with form, like how we can access the form arguments and all. I will show. As of now, what you can do is, for your learning, you can just submit this form, and you can, in the URL, you can just check whether the parameters are going properly or not. So in database, what will happen, since you are more familiar with database, I'm saying in database how it will happen is, see, if for full name column, Bhavya will go and where Bhavya will go and it would be stored. For mobile number, this value will go and it would be stored. And for email, this value. That's how it will work. Is that fine? So many people are asking why label. Without label also you can do this. I'm saying this. Without label also we can do this. Let me remove this label for name. Okay. And then what I'll do, I'll just change the URL. Okay. See, without label also it will not create any issue. I will just add p at gmail.com. See, it is going now also. label will not create any issue. But always it is good practice to now, if you ask me, I will remove everything and I will just type 1 2 3. It will also print, right? It will also print, right? But it is always recommended to use this format. Means it is always recommended to use this format. Means for form also there will be some standard way would be there. That's why we should go for it. Instead of label, you can use span, div also you can use. If you want it in another line, you can use, but it is recommended to use label. Is that clear? Now we covered with input, these inputs, right? What else you want me to cover over here? Maybe we can take, you want me to take a radio buttons example and show it over here? Or you understood, or you can try it yourself? Understood, right? But check with checkbox multi values are allowed, right? With checkbox multi values are allowed, right? How it will go then? You want to see, or you will try it yourself? Yes, we'll add it now. And what about drop down? Any idea how it will go? Any idea on that? Yes, we'll come back to that. First, we'll cover checkbox. As I said, which tag I should, which attribute I should set to group this checkboxes? Yes, it is name. Now we'll come back. Okay, now I will, what happened? Did I do anything wrong over here? Did I just remove the submit button? Just add this for here. Yes, now we'll try it out. Now I'll say Sachin and then I'll submit. As I said before, see, it is just giving favorite is equal to on. You know why? You know why? Because I've not specified the value property. If I don't specify, it would be on, or sometimes it would be true also. Okay. In some frameworks, if you consider, it would be true. In HTML, it is on. By default, it is on. So what I will do is I will specify the value attribute. I'll just say first name. If I am interested in only first letter, then I'll just take like this. Why did I do? So this, okay, without saving, what I will do is I'll select both Sachin and Kohli. And now if you see, favorite equal to on and favorite equal to on. Now we are not able to differentiate, right, what exactly they're trying to save it. Because if it is only single checkbox element, if it is on means we can understood, okay, this box has been selected. But since we have multiple checkboxes, if we don't provide values, then it would be very difficult. That's why if it is only one, then if you skip value property, and if you go with checking on, it is fine. But if you have multiple checkboxes in the same group, then always remember to give value. Okay, I'll say coil. Now what I will do, I'll just add. Now I'll select both. Okay, and then now you can see favorite is equal to S and favorite is equal to K. Understood? Yeah, I already explained about why type is equal to submit, because on click of submit, it is calling the API, right? It is calling the API, right? That's why. If I don't, yeah, I don't do it. Okay. Instead of that, since it is there, okay, I will add one more button. Clear. See, I have two buttons over here. One is to clear the form and another one is to submit a form. So if you see here, on click of clear also it is calling, and on click of submit also if it is calling. In order to avoid that, we should specify which one is which button is submit form button. I will say what is the type? It should be submit. And if you ask me what is this, it should be clear or reset. I think it should be reset. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll just do this way and I'll add, and now I am submitting it. Now I'm clearing. Now I'm clearing. This one is clearing and this one is submitting. So it is always better practice to add this type attribute. Is this fine? Any other inputs you want to try out? Now I will give some assignments. Try the same form with radio buttons, select drop down, and then with date fields. Try it after the session because we have a lot more things to cover. So first we will be covering CSS, and then we will be covering Bootstrap as well, and then we will be covering JavaScript. So let's try to do all the assignments once we are done with JavaScript course. After that, we will do some 2 to 3 projects, and then if we get some time, then we'll do the assignment part as well. Okay. And we were discussing about why can't we directly integrate front end with database, right? I will give one example. And what I will do is I will create one more input. Guys, you know, like if we want to provide the description and all, which tag we should use in HTML? Input is just a small text, right? It can hold only this much value. What if we want to provide the description? We should use Textareas tag for that. Okay, I will add it. I will say label name is equal to description. I'll say, okay, I'll say description. And then what I'll do is I will add text area. and the name would be description. Okay. If you see here now, see it is comparatively bigger than name, right? And also we can do this way. If you want, you can write your resume also, or you can just do this way. So if the requirement is to add the description and all, right, where it would be more than 250 characters and all, then you can go for text area tag. Okay, is that clear? And then what I will do is, in order to disable any input fields, we should add attribute called disabled. Disabled. I will do this one. See, now I can't enter anything. I'm not able to enter anything. Say in real time, you can withdraw only 5,000 rupees from the bank. That is the maximum amount you can withdraw. If they allow direct database integration from front end to database, right? Here I will give some. What I will do is, here I will not allow them to enter any description over here. Now what I will do, I'll just do some magic. Okay. Now it is disabled, right? Even though it is disabled, in runtime, I will just remove this and I can add value. I can add value. That's why we should never ever connect from front end to database. For the security reasons, we should never ever do it, because always remember, front end runs in browser. Browser means your Chrome browser. So user have an access to browser, right? So they can do anything. If you give me any front end framework, it can be React, Angular, or anything, I can modify the values at runtime. I can modify the values at runtime. Okay, that's why we should never ever connect from front end to database. Back end, user will not be having any access. User will not be having any access. So in this case, even though I'm providing some information here, what backend will do is, it will cleverly check whether it is allowed or not. If it is not allowed, then it will give error message to the front end. You are doing nonsense things, please don't do it. Something like that it will do. It will give some errors. That's why we should never ever connect from front end to database. Okay. So you will be able to clear this, like create this kind of forms, right? Okay, one thing is missing. I will show you one property. It is placeholder. Enter full name. And it would be shown if the text is empty, if the user has not given any value. I will always do this spelling mistake. See, if the user has not, it is not the actual value. Okay, if you just submit it, then full name is nothing only. It is not the value. It is like a placeholder. What information you have to provide over here? Enter full name. If you type something, then it would be gone. Now you understood why we should use placeholder. We can use placeholder instead of label as well. That is, in some requirements are like this, where we will be showing the placeholders. Some requirements will be like this, where we will be showing labels. So it is based on the requirement, I can say. Okay, I'll just remove this and I'll add it somewhere here, just for your reference. Now we'll quickly take the notes. Okay. I'll go back. And after submitting how it should work, how it should call the backend and all, while explaining JavaScript, I will give you more idea. For in form, we will be having some more attributes and all that we will be covering later. Okay. I will give notes now. Okay. We learned about text area. When we should go for text area? Tell me. When we should? Yeah, it is used for a long text like description. And to create text area in HTML, which tag should be used? Which tag should be used? Okay, let's take this example. Let's take this example. Guys, just give me 2 minutes. Somebody is at the door. Okay. Please give me 2 minutes. I'm really sorry. Please give me 2 minutes. I'm really sorry. I had to check. I think I did some blunder over here. Okay. Then we'll take few points for forms as well. What is forms? I mean HTML forms. Yes. It's a collection of various inputs. If I say various, it can be date, text, drop down, radio, checkbox and all. Okay. And mainly it used to take user inputs. And for we have to send it to backend, right? Which property is mandatory? When we create forms, which property is mandatory? It is name attribute. Yes, it is name attribute. Without that, we can't map which input belongs to what. And placeholder, what is the purpose of placeholder? It will help us to give information what has to be entered when we have not typed anything. Okay. And what should be the type of submit button? What should be the type of submit button? Yes, type is equal to submit. And what should be the type for clear? Reset. And we'll take this example. Okay. Any doubts on this part? HTML part, HTML forms, HTML. Anything you want me to discuss? Like, now I will take simple exam websites. Okay, I will just take it for 5 minutes, because you should know where to apply it. You might be knowing the concepts, but if you're not knowing where we should apply, then it will be a problem. That's why what I will do is I will take simple website and I will tell you which tag we should use. Okay, and you should answer me. Okay, I will just ask you which tag we should use for what. Okay, and to display Facebook, which tag you will use for display? Yes, it is heading tags. Fine. And for this drop downs, which tag you will use? For this drop down, which tag you will use? Select. Fine. And for this radio button, which tag you will use? Radio. Correct. And for this, which tag you will use? For gender label. Correct. We'll go to some other. I'll go to my favorite one, which is that Amazon. To display this images, image tag. Correct. And here it is select drop down, which you already answered. And I will come back for this one. List. Correct. Whether it is ordered list or unordered list. Ordered list or unordered list. Okay. And now from home button to home button, right? I'm clicking on web series. To achieve this, which tag you will use? Which tag you will use? It is link tag. Okay. And then on click of this, it is giving me the details, right? Which tag we should use? Which tag you should use? It is anchor tag only, a tag only. But inside anchor tag, we should use image tag also, because on click of the image, it is taking me to the details page. Clear? Now, where else I can suggest some websites? Yeah. Now, as soon as I click on this Google Play, it should take me to this Google Play link. Which one you will use? Which one you will use? Anchor tag. Fine. And if you see here they've attached video. Here they've attached video. Just imagine this video is available in another site. Which one you will use? iframe. Correct. If it is normal video, you can, I have not covered that one because we don't use video tag much. Like image, we can have video tag as well. But if the video is from different website, then you should go for iframes. Okay. And then what? Yeah, here there is a join us thing, right? Which tag we should use for this? On click of this, which tag we should use to represent this one? It is button. It is button. Okay. What else? And here And here, okay. Here it is asking me to enter my mobile number and all, right? And there is a login option. Which tag I should which tag I should use for this? Yeah, for entering the phone number, it is input, and whole thing is what? Form. And this is an example for what? This is an example for what? Forms. And on click of this, it will go to the respective social media site, right? Facebook, Google, Gmail, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. So how can we achieve this? Using anchor tag. Okay. I think you're pretty much clear about the tags and all now. Can we start with CSS right away or you need break? Okay, we'll do one thing. I will give 4 minutes break. We'll start exactly at 8 o'clock. Or if you have any doubts, you can ping me here. I will be available for answering. Okay? Okay. It's break time now. When you will cover database connectivity, that would be covered when we start with backend part. Somebody is asking how can we add different styles of text? That we'll see when we are covering CSS. With CSS, we can do that. Somebody is asking, I provide 10 options to the user. I want user to select only of two. Sorry, question is not clear to me. Can you please rephrase it and send it? Somebody is asking for the recap. If I recap now, only 755 participants are there. If I recap now, it will become 300. I don't want to take that risk now. Don't worry. Whatever I have discussed, everything I have given in the notes. At the end of the session also, like final session after covering JavaScript, I will go by one. I will go one by one, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, like that, and I will explain. Okay. How to write inside the enter your name, that I have already shown. Just add this attribute called placeholder. placeholder and the text, and this will add. You can see it over here. Here it is added, enter full name. Can you please upload it as soon as possible? I've already uploaded the file notes. It is available. HTML frames would not be covered since it is an advanced topic. If you want, you can ping me after the class. I can give a basic idea about it. What all we learn in this full stack course? Please contact ExcelR team on that. As of now, we are covering the front-end technologies and the database part, and then we will be starting with backend also. If you need more information, please contact ExcelR team. It's already 8:01 now. I'm seeing so many questions. What we can do is, after the session, right, I will give some more time. At that time, we can discuss. Now, let's proceed with CSS class. Okay. Now you tell me, after seeing this code, you can aram se see the difference, right? It is how it is looking without CSS and all. And if you see it over here, how it is looking. Here it is not fine. Let me open this one. See, here how it is looking and the way it is looking over here. Which one you think it is better? This one, right? How can we achieve this? Yes, we can achieve this one using CSS. Tell me why we should go for CSS, why we should use CSS. Yes, it will give better user experience. In the IT industry, user experience is very important. Why, if you ask me, they're the one who will give you money, who will give company the money. So it is very, very important. In order to increase the user experience, we should add styling to the HTML page. Got it? And what is the abbreviation of CSS? Tell me. What is the abbreviation of CSS? We'll go back to notes. I will give it in day 4 notes, on day 4 notes only. Is cascading style sheet. And why do we use this? Why do we use this? It is used to beautify the web page. It is used for the beautification purpose. And it determines how the HTML element should be displayed on the screen, how it should look. whether the element should have some extra space or whether the element should have extra color. Everything would be controlled by CSS. It will decide the layout, it will decide the size, color, positioning as well. Everything that relates to look of our page will be decided by CSS. Understanding? And what is the extension for CSS? What is the extension for CSS files? Yes, it is .css. And if I want to include CSS in HTML file only, then which tag I should use? I've already given the introduction. So you should tell me. It is style tag. Style tag would be used for internal CSS. Internal CSS means in the same HTML files, we will be providing the CSS class CSS. And if it is external CSS, then which tag we should use? Yes, it is link. And if you ask me what is the basic structure of CSS, I will explain. There will be selector. This, what is the selector? I will cover later. Okay, this is selector. This is selector. After this, you should add flower braces. Inside flower braces, you should define properties. Properties like color, size, position. Like that, you can define. Okay, so I will say property 1 and value 1, and then comma, and then property 2, value 2. Okay, and then it will go on like this. We can define multiple properties. This is a selector and this is the property and the value. Here it is key value pair. Key defines the property and value defines the property. Value defines the value. Is that clear? I will give the basic structure of CSS now. This is the basic structure of CSS. Just copy it from VS Code. Okay. It is not taking. Okay. So one of the types of selector is tag selector. What is tag selector if you ask me? Can you give me some example for HTML tags? Yes. So for H1, it is H1. Without opening and this angular braces, you should provide it. That's it. So, and for paragraph, it is P. Okay. Selector is what we want to select. And now I'll just give this example. Okay. Here it should, instead of comma, it should be semicolon. Sorry, I missed it. It should be semicolon. I created as an object. Object we will be covering in JavaScript. Yes, it should be semicolon. Key value and then semicolon. Okay. And we'll come back to environment setup. We already have the requirement environments. We do have a browser and we do have a Visual Studio Code, and that should be enough to run CSS. Okay. I'm just hoping that you already have these two tools installed. Okay. You might be feeling that I'm going very slow now, but later I will go like anything. That's why please concentrate in the beginning only. Okay. And now let's see how we can include CSS in HTML. For any CSS, if you take for CSS, you should have some HTML content, right? Then only you can add CSS on top of it. If you don't have anything, say for example, as I explained, HTML is building and CSS is like doing furnishing, coloring and all, right? So if we don't have building only, then can you color it or can you start furnishing it? No, right? So for any CSS, we need HTML, and we should include CSS in HTML file, right? So what are the ways to include CSS? If you ask me, there are three ways: inline CSS, internal CSS, and external CSS. We'll go one by one and we'll see how we can achieve this. Okay. And first one is inline CSS. Inline CSS. What I will do is I will go to the editor and create new file called inline.html file. And I will create simple HTML file over here. Okay. Why the cursor is moving like this? What I will do is I will add one heading tag and one paragraph tag. Web programming. If I want to add CSS for a specific element, then I will go for inline CSS. Okay, what I'll do is I will create one more paragraph tags. I will create multiples, okay? And I want only this paragraph to have different, say I can say style. Then I will do inline CSS and I will, with the help of inline CSS, I will apply some style to it. When we are doing, when we are applying CSS in the body section, we should use style attribute. Style attribute. Always remember this. For list, you might have seen, right? For unordered list, we use style attribute, and then we set list property as none. Right? Like that, here also we can do. As of now, I will just say color. Color is one of the CSS property. If you want to know what are all the properties available in CSS, you can just refer any CSS documentation or W3 school for that. I will be covering whatever is very, very, very important, which we will be using daily. Okay. So for this one, I will say color, and we can give any color here. Now I am saying red. Instead of red, we can for every color we will be having hexadecimal RGB code, right? So either we can give the color name, or we can use the hexadecimal code as well. For simplicity, I am taking red. Okay, and then I will save it. Now if I run it, see, only this tag as specific color. So this is how we apply inline CSS. And what if we have to add one more property and value? Then you should say semicolon, and then you should say font size. Font size you might be hearing for the first time now, but when you start coding with CSS, right, then you will be using this one very often. Every day you will be using this one. This one help us to increase or decrease the content size, and I will add colon, and then I will say 60 pixel. You might be wondering, what is this pixel? You know, right? How distance would be calculated from one place to another? 100 meter, if you say 100 meter is one like if you can assume 100 meter distance, smallest of 100 meter is what? It is 1 meter, right? So pixel is also like that. If you consider this whole screen as one place, and pixel is the smallest in the entire screen. Okay, like in 100 meter, 1 meter is the smallest distance, right? So in the entire area, 1 pixel is the smallest area. Okay, like that you can assume. Now I will set it to 60 pixel, and now we'll see, this is how it is displaying. Only it has been applied to this element alone. Okay, let's take this note. I will give the definition and then syntax. You can add see semicolon over here. Is that clear? Okay, let's take this example. Before proceeding with internal and external CSS, I will explain most commonly used properties. Okay, because now I have taken font size and color just to explain you the syntax of inline CSS. So before that, before covering internal CSS, I will be covering most commonly used properties. Okay, that would help you. I will say first one is width. Okay. In with image tag, you might have noticed we have given width and all. So what I will do is I will take this one div tag, and then I will say something like this, width property. We're explaining width property now. That's why. And I will say style is equal to width 50 pixel. Oh, what I did here? Okay, I have not added any tag over here. Okay. Why it is there in another line? If you can somebody tell me? No, it is not because of div. No, it is not because of div. What I will do, I'll just give 2 pixel. Now you it's still loading or loaded? Now I'll say 2000 pixel. Now you understood why it was in second line. It was there because 50 pixel was not sufficient to occupy width property. That's why. If I give some smaller unit, it can't go beyond this, because since width is one word and property is one word, even though if I give a small width also, it will break this way only. What I'll do width, right? What I'll do is I'll just add this. Wait, I'll show you. Now if you see, now instead of 50 pixel, I will just give it 30 pixel. See, I'm allowing only 30 pixel of width. So width is like horizontally how much it can occupy. And similarly, what I'll do, height is there. Height. Now I will add one more div tag without any style. Next one is height. See, without this, how it would display. I will give some larger height so you can easily see the difference. See, with height it is occupying this much. How you're telling this is occupying this much? If you ask me, I have one property called border. What border will do is, you already know about table border, right? Table border. Using CSS also we can provide border. How, if you ask me, first is the size, and then how it should, like solid means that I will come later. You can remember, remember like this. Solid means it is without any it is straight line without any breaks or something. There are different types of lines and all. Zigzag fashion also we can provide lines and all, right? That is also possible. If you need straight line, then you should go for solid, and then you should specify which color the border should look, border should be in. Since we are checking this, I will just give more. See, you can see here, even though content is only this much, it is occupying whole space because we have provided height property. Height is 500 pixel. That's why it is occupying this much of space. Are you clear with width and height? Are you clear with width and height and also border? Next, you already know color. Color we saw while we explaining inline CSS. And there is one more property called background color. What is this background color? If you ask me, color is what is you might have seen, right? Color is what is this color? Width properties color, and background color is, I'll show you. It would be better if with CSS it would be better if I like code it and show. Background color is, I'll give some yellow and then we'll go. See, background color is behind the content, what should be its color, something like that. Okay. And then we saw what is font size. We already know what is font size. And then font weight. In order to in order to show the text in bold, which tag we should use? Tell me. Strong, right? Say strong will make our content very bold. Instead of that, we have one more property called font weight, which will help us to give give value according to our requirement. Let's take this example. What I'll do is I will create one more strong tag. Okay. And then what I'll do is, sorry. Yeah, it is fine. Where I'm going. See, this is the strong tag, and this is the place where we have applied font weight. Just to show you the difference, what I'll do is I will directly edit over here. Is that fine? Just to show you the difference. So now I have given 100. That's why it is, if you add one more, I will add one more paragraph over here. You don't worry about all these things because I'm editing over here only just to save the time. Okay. So this is the normal paragraph, and this is the paragraph with font weight as 100. You might not seeing more difference, right? Now what I will do is I will increase the value. Now also you can't see any difference. I will set it to 600 now. Now are you able to see the difference? Like that, if you want to make it more bold, then we can keep on increasing. See, now I increased it to 1000. Based on our requirement, we can control till 1000 it is possible. Strong will make this paragraph with font weight as 600. If we want to increase it like 800,000, then we can make use of this font weight property. Even if we want to decrease it also, then we can make use of font weight property. Is it clear? Shall I explain once again? Shall I explain once again when we should go for strong and when we should go for font weight? Yes, I can see so many S in the chat box. See, what strong tag will do is it will make our text bold. Text bold means it would be equivalent to font weight 600. Font weight 600. I don't want that much of bold. If I want to increase it, then I can go for font weight, where we do have an option of 800 and 1000. We can increase it some more. Okay. And even if you want to decrease it like 200, 400, then also we can go for font weight. If we want it for 600, then we can go with strong tag only. Okay. And somebody is asking what is the default font weight. That we can't say. It depends on the paragraph. It depends on the tags. For paragraph it is 200, and for H1 it would vary. You have seen, right? H1 is different, H2 is different. All these things are internally controlled using these properties only. Are you clear? Next we'll take one more. Next one is padding. What I will do is we'll go here and I will apply some padding over here. You can see here width properties here. Padding I will give 20 pixel. You can easily see the difference, right? It has taken some spaces from here and also from this side and also from left side, right side, top side and bottom side after applying this padding. It is like outside content we are giving some spaces. What I will do is I will just remove the side property and I will just remove this padding. Okay. Now you can understand it more. See, now some space is there around this width property, right? That is because we are using H1 tag. What I will do is instead of H1, I will change it with P. You have some spaces for paragraph. What I will do is now I will add padding back 60 pixel. It will add some spaces in all 4 directions: top, bottom, left side, and right side. Okay. If you want to add some spaces around your content, then you should go for padding. And then next one is margin. We'll say 80 pixel. Now let's try to understand what is the difference between padding and margin. Margin refers to the outer area. So if this is the content, right? This is the content. In this content, around width property, we have applied some spaces, that is padding. And in between this tag and this tag, we applied some property called margin, right? So margin is in between the content, and padding is around the content. Is that clear? And here also with margin, we can give some spaces from top side, left side, bottom side, and right side. You might feel that it is a bit confusing as of now, but at the end of the course, you will be clear with this. Okay. Now it apply. Now you saw what is padding and all, right? We can apply individually also. Just imagine, I don't want margin left and margin right. I just want margin top. Then also you can provide that. That can be achieved using margin hyphen top property. Similarly, we have left, right, and bottom properties as well. Similar to margin, for padding also, those options are available. Don't get confused as of now. I'm just showing this one so that next time when I'm giving some example, you will be having some basic idea about it. Even though if you're not following everything, then it's fine. Without that also, with by taking simple examples like color, font size, you can learn it. Don't think more about these properties. Okay. Is that clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? Or you're not getting anything, that's why you're not asking any questions? I know it for the first time, if you're seeing this one, it would be very it would be a bit difficult. I can understand that, but it's okay. Day by day you'll learn. Okay. Okay, then we'll start with the next ways to include CSS then. Okay, did I just modified everything over here? I will give another file. I'll just delete this so that I'll create new one for you and I'll give it to you. Next one is internal CSS. How we can like include CSS in using internal tag, we'll see. Okay. So in its section, while explaining its section, I told about one tag called style tag, right? So this is the place where we can add internal CSS. I will add a few paragraphs and headings, and I will use tag selector, which I already told you. So for paragraph, it is P and color, colon, red, and semicolon. If I run it now, see, it has been applied. This is how you can apply internal CSS. Any doubts? And if you don't get confused, guys, so inside its section, you can place the style tag anywhere. You can place it over here also. The output would be same. And if you place it before title also, output would be same only. Okay. Just take away from this internal CSS is inside style tag, you should define CSS. Take down this notes. I will add it. I will give it in notes. Internal CSS. Where we should include internal CSS? Tell me. Where we should include? Yes. And now for the example purpose, I've applied it for P alone, paragraph alone. We can apply it for H1 also. That is also possible. What we have to do is one more CSS you just have to write H1, and this time I will say color is equal to blue. And now if I go back, yeah, it has been applied. And where we will find the style tag? Head section or body section? Yes, it is head section. We'll take this example as well. And then we'll start with external styles. What is the CSS file extension? Tell me. As the name says, external CSS means we will create a separate file and we will make use of the file, separate file in our HTML file. Okay. Why do we need this? Anyway, we can just add our CSS in style tag, right? Either we can do it over here or we can apply it over here. Inline CSS we can use. Why do we need external style? Anyone in the class? Anyone in the class? Yes, correct. To apply it in multiple HTML pages. If I use the style tag, then I can't use it in another HTML file, right? If I declare it over here, then it is specific to this HTML page alone. But if I create new CSS file, then I can apply it in n number of HTML files. If I can apply the same CSS for 100 files also. And how you can include external CSS? How we can include external CSS? Tell me. Using which tag? Sorry. Using which tag? Using link tag. Link tag in the H section. Okay. And then what is the syntax if you ask me? It is link, and when we and the relationship is rel property we have to rel tag attribute we have to set, that is style sheet. And then with href I have to set the value. I have not created a CSS file yet. What I will do is I will create a new folder called CSS, and inside CSS folder I will create one file called style.css. Okay. And here what I'll do is I will copy the same thing. Did I do it over here? I will copy the same thing which I applied in internal.html file. Okay. And then I'll save this file. And then in external.html file, I will give the path of this file. So it is under CSS folder, correct? And then we do have the file style.css. It is the way we access images, guys. It is similar to that. Then we can go this way. I'll just save it. Now, if you see, I'll just run this one. See, both internal and external does not have any functional difference. Only one thing is, uh, here we are declaring the CSS in the style tag, and here we are declaring the CSS in external file, another file. That is the only difference. So with this CSS, I can apply it in any file, right? If I want it in forms.html file, I can just go and apply it over here. That is possible. We can apply it in multiple HTML elements. That is the difference between external and internal CSS. Is that clear? Next, I will explain about inheritance. What is inheritance, if you ask me? Don't give a Java definition. I will take one example. What I will do is I will create a simple HTML file. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll create a div, and inside div, I will add multiple elements. Heading 1, and then paragraph 1. Same thing, I will repeat it. Okay. Same thing, I will repeat it. Now what I'll do is I'll create a style tag, and inside that I will give some styles for div tag. Okay. And I will save this and I will run this. What do you think has happened now? Did I apply some CSS to H1 tag or paragraph tag? Did I apply it? Did I apply anything to H1 or paragraph tag? No, right? I've applied it to only div. I've applied only to div, right? Oh, now how all childs have the same color as we defined in the div one. Now what I will do is I will create one more paragraph. For paragraph, I will apply different style. See, now it got changed, but heading still have the same color. So in CSS, properties of the parent will be automatically inherited by the child. So div is a parent here. By default, whatever properties we will apply to div, right? Same thing will come to their child. Now what I'll do is outside div, I will create one more heading. See, can you see the difference? It is there is no difference, right? There is no difference here. Only child properties are having the value. So they will get parent property values. And if child has its own style, then child style would be applied. Is that clear? Now we'll see. Now we have seen three types of three ways to include CSS, right? Now, say for example, I will create one new file. Now you should tell me the answer. Okay. I will create simple paragraph over here, and I will say paragraph. Okay. And then what I will do is I will add one style here. Color. Okay. Color is red. Okay. And I will do internal CSS as well, and I will say P color red. Okay, and then I will add, anyways, it is there here. So what I will do is I will include external CSS file as well. Now, don't you think in all three places, that is internal CSS, external CSS, inline CSS, we have styled paragraph property and we have given same value? Now what I will do is I will just change it. Here it is blue. Let's say this is yellow. Okay. Which one would be considered? Can you people guess? In inline, I have given red color. With internal, I have given blue color. With external, I have given yellow color. Which one would be considered? Yes, it is. I will just run this file. We'll see what would be the color. It is red. So if we apply both inline external and inline CSS, then inline CSS value would be considered. Did you get it? Yes, priority would be given to inline CSS when all three things have been applied. And now I will define some more property over here. I will say font font sizes 300 pixel. And in I will go to external CSS. Here I will say border is. Do you think these properties would be applied? Font size and um, size and border. Just now I said, right, only internal inline CSS will be given priority. Then why these properties, font size and border, will be applied? It has applied, right? Why, if you ask me? Anyways, I'll give the notes later, guys. So what will happen is, imagine this way. Now I have a paragraph, right? So first what it will take is, it will take, now style I have defined first or link I have defined first? Style or link I have defined first. First is what? Style or link? It is style, right? So for paragraph, style is first. First, it will take these two properties. Okay. And then what is there? Link is there. So link, what is there? Style.css, right? I'll go back to style and I will take this properties. Okay. And then finally what we are defining finally is our inline CSS. This is how CSS will work. This is how CSS will work. First it will take whatever is defined first, second is it will and then finally it will go on like that. First it is style and then it is link and then it is inline CSS. So what will happen is CSS follows last rule principle. Last rule principle. See, first color blue has been applied. It will have that value. And then font size is 300 pixel. It will just apply this font size property. And then again color got changed, right? It is yellow. So it will change the value now. And then border it will apply. Border 1px solid red it will apply. Again we are changing the color. So it will apply red. Did you get now how it will work? Any questions on this? Okay. Now what I will do is I will just keep in inline CSS and internal CSS and external CSS. Okay. And now if I see now, see it has taken external CSS. If you ask me why, you already know the answer, because after internal CSS, we are defining external CSS. If you change this order, see, it became blue now. So always remember, in CSS, CSS follows last rule principle, and it will always take last property. Is that clear? Is that clear? How to add comments in CSS? To add comments in CSS, we will follow this slash star star slash, and in between we can comment whatever we want, say paragraph styling. So this is the way we apply styling here. And even for here also we can do that. Did you get it now? Or we can add comments in CSS. Now we'll talk about element selector. Element selector you got, right? How we can add element selector? It is based on the tag name itself we will use to select the element. For paragraph it is P, for H1 it is H1, for div it is div. It's like that. All right, guys, it's already 8:52 now. We'll end this session. I know CSS, if you're seeing it for the first time, you might feel it difficult. But as soon as we proceed with some 5 to 6 examples, you will be familiar with that. Okay. I know I've not updated notes after external style. I will update and I will provide it to you. Yes. Any questions on any topics? Ma'am shows the process of material download at the end. Can you please contact ExcelR team on that? They will help you. Please upload notes. It's available in ExcelR website. You can download it. So many are asking about notes only. Please contact ExcelR team. It is available in ExcelR application. From the material section, you can download it. Yes, I will upload today's notes today only. Yes. Ma'am, can you please explain about external CSS? Sure. In external CSS, what we will do is we will create a separate file called style.css. I'll just share my screen again. See, in this example, I've created a file called style.css and I've defined all the CSS rules over here. And from the HTML file, we can link this external file is using link tag. In link tag, we should for the tag attribute rel, we should say style sheet. And in the href, we should provide the path. This way we can link external CSS to HTML. Once explained priority. Yes. So always priority would be given to inline CSS. Okay. And regarding external and internal, for example, if you define internal first and then external, priority would be given to the last one, that is external style. And if you define external first and then internal, priority would be given to the last one, that is internal. So CSS follows last rule principle. Whatever you will define at the last, that would be considered. Explain inheritance. In inheritance, we saw, if you see over here, for div tag, I have given the color as red. So it has applied to all child elements. This from this, say if you collapse like this, then all these elements are child of div. It is enclosed within div tag. So these things are child elements and it applied to all. If the child has its own style, then that would be considered. If the child does not have any styles means, then parents styles would be considered. Ma'am, today is our first day. Which software we have to use for HTML? uh, you can download Visual Studio Code, and for running the HTML file we need Chrome browser. Please watch my day one video, you will get an idea. Ma'am, how we will put the color? Using color property. Color colon, we should specify which color we need. HTML will not work with .css extension. In HTML file, we can include CSS file. Ma'am, please reply to YouTube chats also. If you have any doubts, you can add it in the comment section. I will try to reply. Can we update a CSS file? Yes, you can update a CSS file from any web pages. In the upcoming classes, I will be covering how we can include icons in HTML, like Facebook icon, Instagram icon, and all. At that time, I will be using external websites only. That time, I will show you how you can include CSS from other web pages. What is meaning of href? This is a tag attribute. For anchor tag also we will use the same thing, right? It is a tag attribute using which we can specify the path. Somebody is asking, nowadays submit button is moving this side when we entered long credentials. How is it possible? Sorry, actually your question is not clear to me. That's why, can you please rephrase this one and send it? I'm not able to get this question. Yes, we can copy the HTML code with the help of inspect. You just have to do this one. To get any website HTML code, right? What you have to do is just go to any website and then right click. Please listen. See, if you want Amazon website HTML code means, you just have to do right click and then go to view page source. That's it. It will give you the content, and then after this you can just copy it and take any notepad and then paste it. It's not able to align line wrap. Yeah. Yes. See, it has done. Even my code also you can copy like that. See, view page source and you can just copy it. Any other questions or feedback? Yes, if you don't have any questions, please leave the session. Any feedback on the today's session? In a tag, don't worry about other tags. From a tags, title is very important, which will give the title of the document. And then a link tag is there. Link tag is to include external CSS. Style tag is to include internal CSS, and script tag is used to add JavaScript. If you remember these tags, that's enough. Style, link, script, title. These 4 tags, if you know, it's enough. Why we should not connect front end to database? I already answered this, for the security reasons. If no questions means we'll end the session. Can we update CSS? Yes, we can update CSS from any web page. That I will be covering later. You might have seen, right? We can include Facebook icon, Instagram icon, and all. With just HTML, it is not possible. We should include other CSS as well. That time I will explain you how you can do it. Any more questions? In label tag, name is of no use. Name we should use when we are taking something from the user. That time you can use name.
Hello team, I just want to inform you that tomorrow we have no session, so we'll meet on Monday.
Somebody is asking what is UTF in meta tag. Say you are displaying some special characters in HTML. At that time, it should render properly, right? For that purpose, you will add UTF for encoding which version is used. Can we style a page without CSS? No, you can't. We should use CSS for that. We can also use Bootstrap and all. Again, Bootstrap also uses CSS only. Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll meet tomorrow.
Tomorrow is no session.
Oh, sorry. We'll meet on Monday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Amar. Yeah, Tirunad. Can we wind up, huh? Yeah, you can wind up now.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye.